What's up, guys?
Chris and Jay the same type of question, but as you turn the page forward to the second half, what does this offense have to do to get better in your eyes?
Well, I think finish better. I mean, we have to score more points. I mean, we've had a lot of long drives. We haven't had enough big plays. And so at some point you get bogged down. So, yards and stats or however you look at it are one thing, but it's really about scoring points and finishing drives. So I think we need more big plays or any big plays to help that process. There's a lot of good being done on play to play to play, but it's like, it's hard to move the ball. You keep looking up and it's 80 yards to go, and you got to convert this, and it's another third down. So I think we have to keep trying to find ways we're trying, to generate some bigger plays, and then I think we just have to finish more. We need to score more points.
With Travis, he got a bigger opportunity than he'd been getting. How satisfying is it to see him perform well with a bigger chance on Saturday?
He played really well, and we've been really hard on him. I mean, it was a big adjustment to go to play, and that's a hard position to play. You ask a lot of that guy, and I don't think he's ever going to be some kind of hammer on the line of scrimmage, but he does have to block these defensive ends at times, and so with that kind of assignment weighing on him, it took away from his passing ability a little bit, and he really kind of didn't have the greatest camp that we expected coming off the spring. And then all of a sudden you find yourself behind a guy like Jerome, and there's not a whole lot of times you want to take Jerome out of the game. So I thought he did a great, they always talk to these guys about when their opportunity comes, boom or bust. And he definitely really exceeded kind of what I was expecting, because I knew he could do that in the pass game. I thought he did a good job in the run game as well. That was a tough assignment. A lot of times he's matched up on that 97 and their cutoffs, and I mean, he improved tremendously in that regard. If he can keep going like that, he's really a force, because there's sometimes even sometimes he didn't get the ball. If I was watching that tape from an opponent's standpoint, he's rolling pretty good through zones or man or whatever it might be. The first play of the game should be a 20-yard gain to him, because he separates by 4 yards off the safety. So I was really pleased with how he played. Now we got to just find the best balance. We'll see where Jerome is as we go through the week. That was probably too many for him. I think he played 68 plays. That was a lot of go from 0 to 60. But he's fine. But we got to find a good balance, because I think we have to keep getting him involved.
The 9-for-9 drive for Art with a touchdown. I mean, is that basically you have to find a way to bottle that at some point? Is that what you're looking for from him at this?
I think he's played well and is comfortable in that mode, and we'll see if that's something that helps us going forward. Maybe we'll get into that mode a little more for him. A lot of times when you do that, the run game, you don't want to throw it every down. I mean, that was more of a 2-minute type drive, so to play that way all the time, there's got to be a little bit better way to mix the runs in, and then you start to get some different looks, because the defense isn't quite in that 2-minute type mode. But I do, he's an accurate passer. He was able to shake off some mistakes early and just kind of see things clearly, and gave him some things that he's been comfortable with since he got here. And he made some really quick reads. He was aggressive when he had to be. If not, he was quick to just pick the right guy and get it out. And I thought he made a big throw for the touchdown. So I think we have to find a happy medium of maybe giving him some more opportunities to do that.
Through the first 6 games, and is there any guys who have really made some more progress than others?
How did I?
How would you assess the receivers as a whole? Because you're a young group. You said you're looking for the progress out of them. What would you say?
Well, I think you see Bo showing up a lot more these last couple of weeks, and maybe that's just as much for having more opportunities. Maybe early on, maybe he would have made all those plays. I don't know, but now that he's gotten a number of opportunities, he's done a good job with them. We're still trying to find ways to kind of spring him loose if we can. If not, he's shown he can operate underneath, and he's gotten better as a receiver, and because there's a lot of subtleties and stuff to learn, and when you're seeing different coverages every week, it's not as easy as just go down and turn around. I mean, he's definitely improved in terms of route running and awareness and zones as man and playing the ball. Eddie Lewis is showing up. He's made a lot of number of good plays. That's a tough spot to play in the slot, especially for young guys. Again, it takes there's a lot of things you have to adjust to on the run, and but he's a real football guy. I think we talked about him last week. He stepped up and made some plays. Shameen's a guy that's, you know, kind of does it every day. I mean, he obviously wished he could have one back the other day. It was an easy touchdown there at the end of the game. But so I think those guys have really, you know, shown that they're going in the right direction for sure. I think we trust them a lot more now because we've seen it in games, not just in practice. And hopefully that continues, you know. And then same thing with the young tight end. Davon Robinson showed up, you know, the other day. He's getting better. You know, it's a tough spot, again, for a guy to come right out of high school and more or less adjust to this type of tight end. But he's come on every week. We've been kind of expecting it to come. Hopefully we see a little bit more of him in the second half too.
With Jonathan Lewis, just with his, you know, size, if he were to really want to play tight end and embrace it and work at it, could you envision him having some real success there?
Yeah, I could. I think he does. I mean, I don't want to speak for him. I think he's a big athletic football guy. He understands football. He understands the concepts, the blocking, all that stuff. And so now I think he understands too. You get in a game, it's a little different. It's like, whoa, this is a little faster than. But it was a good introduction for him. We have to make sure we're smart. You know, we have 2 games left that we could use him without it costing the year, and you know, whether or not that's this week, next week, you know, however we want to try to work them in, because I don't want to waste. I mean, we had some other things planned. It just didn't, you know, the way the game went, we didn't get to them. But I think that's something. Again, I don't want to speak for him. I think that's something that he is happy to be doing. And the guy just wants to play. And but I think to the real heart of the question, I think he can do it for sure. He's got really excellent hands, really good hips, and change of direction in terms of, you know, being able, you know, we did a number of things with him route-wise, and just seeing him run through zones and getting, you know, avoiding contact and just little things that, you know, some guys could struggle with. I think if you know, try to use him as a true blocker all the time, that's a lot of work. You know what I mean? But I think there's a future for him there if that's where it goes.
I think you recruited him, and I think you left the year that he actually made the change with DC Jefferson. Does he remind you a little bit of him?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think John is really, at this point, really a more powerful guy. You know what I mean? I don't think DC, you know, he was a big guy, but he's really done a ton in the weight room that kind of changed his whole body. So I think he may be more suited now at this age to just go do what kind of DC was asked to do. Already, I think it took a couple years for DC, and then he started to lift a little bit more and get a little bit bigger, a little bit different program. I think John's already kind of in that type of mode a couple years before DC got to it. But they are similar guys. DC was an interesting character when no, he went to Arizona. He went to Arizona right after I left. Actually, with a game in Tampa, we played against them, and they drafted him and the whole deal. But it is a similar type. I don't know if it's a little different. I actually think John may be better suited with some of his skill set to play that position.
We've talked a lot about Pacheco and game work. Is it just the case that Hilliman and Raheem are just not opening the door for him?
I think you know, it's just like, you know, we have this 3-back package, and we're trying to do different things to get those guys on the field and get them the ball, but then you're counting Raheem, and then John is almost like an MVP. I mean, I don't. Everything the guy does is right. Every situation he has, like I talk about every week, going in, coming out, 3rd and 1, 4th. I mean, the 4th and 1 wasn't him. If we actually blocked the guy in the hole, would have helped. And I think he gets the first down, because the 3rd and 1's the first time he's been stopped all year. Really, that was more the edge deal. And it's, again, you put a couple guys in there that haven't been in there, but I mean, he does everything right. He's got a knack for making plays out of not much, and so to put him down is tough. You know what I mean? Now I know, and it's nothing against Isaiah. It's nothing against anyone. It's just a hard, you know. So you know, I say it every week. I guess we try to earmark plays for Isaiah. Then a couple of it has to do with, you know, you look up, it's 24-7. You look up, it's 35-6. You know, whatever these scores have been at times in the first half, and now you go into a different mode, and all of a sudden you find it. You go at the end of the game and go, well, the guy got the ball once. So I think that's it's hard. I mean, again, when you get into that, we're trying to win the games. I mean, it's not like we're trying to experiment, and it's not like we don't trust Isaiah, but we know with John, it's usually good. And not to say that Isaiah wouldn't be, but it's hard to take a guy and go, you know what, thanks for coming, but we're going to try this guy just because. I really like John. I have a lot of respect for him. I think this is, it's obviously been hard. He's having a lot of success as a player, and I think it'll help him in the future. But this isn't what he can. I mean, the losses are killing him. I mean, that's not why he didn't come here to lose games. I mean, again, not to speak for him, but I could see it on his face. Yet there hasn't been one slip. If anything, he just keeps getting better.
To build off what James asked, next year Hilliman's gone. What do you see as Pacheco's potential for beyond this season?
I think he's really good. I mean, again, I'm probably the one holding him back. I'm like the Dean Smith of the operation, I guess. But again, I don't know how you get that many guys. I mean, Raheem's our guy. Keep saying that he's our best player. John is just a tremendously valuable player to have in your team. And there's two ways to look at that. We only have him for 6 more games, so it's like, I think Isaiah is a tremendous player. I really like the kid a ton. I mean, I think he could help us. I don't know, is it breaking one more tackle than that guy? I don't want to compare the guys. I think they're all really good. I think it's the one position, you kind of feel really good about. Like I said, that's why we try to put them all on the field at the same time and find spots for them. But it's hard to, build that package, and then all of a sudden you're in 2-minute mode or you're in some different mode. So I know we talk about it every week. I would like to see Isaiah get X amount of carries, but then you guys would be like, well, where's Raheem? What happened? You know what I mean? So which would be a legit question, or Raheem would be like, what happened to me? So it's just been hard. I mean, it's a good position. Those guys have played really well. Nunzio's done a really good job with them because they're all young guys, and even to get a guy like John to come in and have to assimilate to all this stuff, he's done a good job with those guys. So it's unfortunately at some point you're only handing it to one of them. So.
Second guesses stuff?
No, I don't play. There's a lot to second guess. So do I. Trust me. I don't.
Speaking about second guesses, it's not even a second guess, but the throwback to Jonah. What was the thought process on that play? And you've done that before, right? With Zutov back in the day.
And Anthony threw one. We did a double pass in a bowl game with Anthony Davis. We should have just let him run it. He probably would have scored. You always go back. It's almost like at times you get in a game and you're down 20 or something, and the guy says, we're going to go for 2, and you go, I'm going to use my 2-point play. And I understand we were down, or we're going to, at the time, could we get 2 onside kicks? I don't know. I think we were trying like hell to score. And, we got in that mode. They're playing all coverage, and everybody's in the end zone. You're on the 4. You're thinking about a run but then the clock, and then we didn't have time. So we were just trying to score, and I figured this is a way we could score. Now, if we get it to them or however, it walks in, but again, it doesn't happen. So, and I know some people could say, well, why would you use that when you weren't good? But we were, those guys were killing themselves out there on the field to try to score. So I wasn't going to sit there and go, hey guys, I just figured I'd wait till next week if we get there. You know what I mean? So I think they owed it to them. We practiced it a bunch. I think those guys have to know, we're just talking about, we're going to use that play. So we took a shot at it, and unfortunately, it was a little high, and he, because they, let the guy go a little soon, and whatever the circumstances were. Even if he went over and picked it up, I think he still could have scored. They didn't even react, but unfortunately, it just didn't work out.
Do you consider that in a game? I mean, like a lot of fans would say, like, you got to save that for when you're tied with Penn State or whatever. Like
I do. I mean, I do. I have in the past, whether it's right, wrong, or like I said, there's times like here with Greg, someone upstairs would go, hey, we're up 14, or I don't know what the number, we're up 12, we should go for 2. I'm like, there's a minute to go. I'm not running the 2-point. I would think, well, I'm just going to hand it off. I mean, I'm not going to run my 2-point play here. I think we're good. Or vice versa. You're down, that whatever. I just, over the years, and sometimes when I hadn't been in the spot to call it, so maybe it's easier as the guy who's not calling it, I'd go, why would we do that? But so I do think about those things. I thought about them in Texas State the other way when we got up. Well, I'm not going to run any of these plays. I'm going to save them. But I just thought at the time, for as hard as the guys had played for 80 whatever plays, and we'd gotten down there before and kicked a field goal, and now we're down there again and we're flailing away. It's like, I'm not, let's just go with what we have. They deserve to score, and we'll figure something out for these other games. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.